and they played one knight f3 from Kramnik, d5 from Aronian, and d4 from Kramnik.
Yeah, alright. Pretty much as expected, we got a Queen's Gambit declined here. Any sort of Queen's Gambit. We can try to speculate a bit on what line we will get.
Someone here who might be ahead of our feed is saying semi-Slav. Maybe they're watching the official live stream, but forget about that. We're going to have some fun today. I've been really looking forward to this match. I was thinking last night, actually, has there ever been a match where two 2800s like sort of play each other for an extended period of time like this?
No, this is the first match of two players above this rating playing against each other. This is a premiere, so to say. So yeah, we can speculate a bit what kind of opening we'll get. I would bet quite a bit amount on the next move being like this. I'm just guessing that Aronian will stick to his guns and play the classical Queen's Gambit declined, and then
he doesn't really play. He doesn't really play much else.
Yeah, in recent times he played this almost exclusively. He also, of course, played the Slav before and also the semi-Slav. This is everything possible, but in recent times he went for this
surprise! We have a few moves having come in.
Okay.
So we got 3 c4.
Yeah.
c6.
Yeah, c6, right? Okay.
Knight c3.
Mm-hmm.
e6. Bishop g5. h6.
Yeah.
I guess this isn't too much of a surprise. And then bishop takes, queen takes.
And any move from white? Did he play e3 already? Or?
Yeah, e3, and then black played knight d7.
Alright, yeah. So we got a semi-Slav after all. It's a slight surprise maybe, but it's of course in Aronian's repertoire. I'd like to go quickly through the moves up to this point to show the various points where there are any valid alternatives. So we got a Slav here, and Kramnik played knight c3, and this is of course the most flexible move here, and also in some way the most aggressive move, as it doesn't block in the bishop on c1. An alternative here would be e3, of course, just protecting the c4 pawn. And this is also a line that Kramnik played quite often. Also on the black side, Aronian also played this with white. So in this match we'll have two players competing against each other who share many openings. So this position also that we got after move 7 now could have easily been on the board with the players on exactly the opposite side. So here also there could be Aronian playing white and Kramnik playing black. This is easily possible. So, but Aronian didn't take on c4. He played e6, a semi-Slav. After white's main alternatives are e3. So e3 here, or bishop to g5. Bishop g5 is of course the more aggressive option, as it tries to develop the bishop first and then only then play e3.
Can black not win a pawn here if he takes on c4?
Yeah, this is the Botvinnik variation. In this case old way to play this opening. It's of course very sharp, one of the sharpest lines in chess entirely, I guess. Play then usually proceeds along the lines of e4. Black protects the pawn now, and then e5. and this is the point here. This pin of the knight is of course quite annoying, and the only way for black to avoid losing a piece is to go h6 now, and usually it continues bishop to h4, g5, and now white sacrifices this piece here, but will get it back due to the pin. Knight bd7, and well, theory just starts around here. It's easily imaginable for a game in this opening to be completely out of preparation, completely played out of prepared line or something, because there are lines up to move 30 and 40 and so on. But the main problem here is that black has some problems in this line. It's very sharp, and some lines are really on the edge of being unplayable for black. So there's basically no top player who plays the Botvinnik here anymore with d takes c4.
So we have a few more moves have come in. After knight d7, white played 8 bishop d3. Yeah. And then black took on c4. Bishop takes c4.
And g6.
And g6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't see the moves, but this is the main line. But yeah, this is mostly played. Just one thing,
white castle, bishop g7, and rook e1.
Yeah, okay. Let's just quickly finish this this here. He played h6 here instead of the Botvinnik, and this is the main alternative at this point. And now very important is white captured on f6 here. It is also possible for white to play bishop h4, not capturing, and then we got a quite interesting line here. Black then takes on c4, e4, and it looks very similar to the Botvinnik, but here black has the opportunity to play g5 in a position where white hasn't played e4, e5 yet, so he cannot sacrifice the piece here and expect to get it back. So white needs to drop it back here, the bishop, and then b5, and then we got the so-called anti-Moscow variation. h6 is a Moscow variation, and this is the so-called anti-Moscow, and this is also super complicated. So this is the kind of line where it is very unlikely to end in a draw unless it's a perpetual check at some point. Very sharp stuff. But okay, noticeably Kramnik avoided that and took on f6. He has played this position, this super sharp position, with both colors, so he sometimes gets this reputation of being a bit of a boring player, but he plays quite a lot of sharp lines actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that. But I've actually seen a few very sharp games from Kramnik that took me sort of by surprise that he's played. One, I think, recently with Jiri and stuff, so...
Yeah, it's in recent years, since he got out of this World Championship cycle in Kazan last year, he played very sharp stuff. So we got bishop d3, which is the normal move. Black took here g6. I guess castles, bishop g7, and rook e1, right?
Yeah, rook e1, and that's the most updated move that I have. Or let me scroll down a little bit here. Yeah, rook e1.
Yeah, I think
I'm watching the moves as they come in on a website, and actually, your German compatriot Arkady Neidich is doing written commentary.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is, I think, still a known, a known position. I guess it's not an opening that I know particularly well, but what I will do now is we'll start the database, and let's at least check briefly if this has been played, or how often this has been played.
So what about for black, the bishop on c8? Will you try to get it out with stuff like b5 and then c5?
Yeah.
And bishop to b7 later?
Yeah, this is the usual way to try with black. The other way would be to play e5. As usual in this Queen's Gambit declined position, this bishop on c8 is so it's the problem to solve. If you can
problem child.
if you can solve this issue, then usually you don't have so much problems anymore. And in general,
to me, like with the queen and the bishop on G7 and F6, and the knight on D7, he could probably play E5 pretty soon.
yeah, it's very often also playable. What you need to be cautious of is the development. You're very much behind in development right now. White has got all his pieces out already, and Black still hasn't castled, and it's got the bishop on C8. So you need to be a bit cautious about the timing of those pawn advances.
Okay, so we have played castles by white, by black, E4 by white, and E5 by black.
Yeah, this is what I actually wanted to mention. Usually Black only goes E5 once White has played E4 himself. The reason is that in a position where White hasn't played E4 yet, E4 of course what he played is a pretty logical move to gain space here. But in a position where White, let's say, wouldn't play E4 here, but would play some, let's say, some slow move, it doesn't make maybe so much. Let's say Rook C1, just for argument's sake. If you then go E5, then one problem here is that you just opened up here this bishop's diagonal on C4. I actually should have looked up before how to draw those arrows.
Oh, you just hold down the Alt button and then click, and then
like this. Okay. Okay, yeah, this diagonal here. You just opened this diagonal after playing E5, and in this sort of position where White has a pawn on E3, White doesn't really need to resolve this formation in the center because there's no threat on D4. White could easily...
Also, if you want to change the arrow colors, Alt-Shift should do red, and Alt and Control should do yellow.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm glad to know one of those arrows. How do I get them back, actually? The same? Ah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just hold it over the arrow. Hold it over the arrow and redraw the arrow.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the point is that in this position, White has always the idea to recapture here on D4. Black isn't threatening anything. In contrast to the game here, E4, E5, Black is just threatening on D4. So the situation in the center will clarify immediately. In this kind of position, White can easily play a couple of other moves and just keep the center as it is, because it's sometimes a problem for Black to open up the E-file, as White...
The one that comes to my mind is D5, just trying to look to create a pass pawn. What about that?
Now D5 for White, yeah, this is a very, very valid point. The problem here, Black cannot really take here. This just looks very, very ugly, as White is very quick in development. And also, let's say there are tricks possible. Oops, I'm not sure where the queen should go. But let's even say, for argument's sake, he's going to D8. Then this quick development might allow little tricks already, like this one, for instance. Maybe it's not doing so much, but just to illustrate that White is very quick here. But okay, let's check the game. This can actually be quite similar. E4, E5, and in this position now, White doesn't have much choice. He just needs to play D5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, what else is there?
Yeah, D4 is just hanging, and you cannot do much else. So I'm expecting him to play, or maybe he has already played this move.
Well, I haven't seen it on the feed yet, but I think they sort of are broadcasting a few moves at a time at the moment.
Yeah, and I think normal would be something like knight b6 then, attacking this bishop, bishop b3, and then something like bishop g4. I haven't looked up the theory yet because I'm talking all the time and couldn't even enter the moves in chess base, but I'll check this now. I think this is still a known position. I remember some game of Carlsen who won against a very strong player. I think this position, but I'm not entirely sure. and he won.
So you would think that White from this position would try to keep the tension in the center as long as possible, just to give Black the chance to play C takes D and give himself a very nice pass pawn on D5.
Yeah, the only thing is White wouldn't I think White wouldn't want a pawn here on the D file because it's not going anywhere.
Even as a pass pawn?
Yeah, I don't think so. But we have. I just looked this up. There are a couple of games indeed, and also some newer games, but not the game of Carlsen's. Maybe by transposition, or it was a similar position. So
okay, wait. We have a couple more moves having come in.
Yeah. Okay.
We have Rook D8 was played after D5.
Okay.
And Kramnik has played Rook E3.
Yeah, Rook E3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is actually the maneuver that Carlsen also played, but I think it was a similar position. It wasn't exactly the same position. Rook D8 has been played actually, and also Rook E3 has been played. Funny enough. So this is yeah. This
so
is.
We're still into known positions.
Yeah, this has been played. Yeah, in a very important game actually. It has been played in the last round game of the European Individual Championships for Women, and this was a decisive game for the title. This was the game Valentina Gunina versus Anna Muzichuk.
Of this past year?
Yeah, this is just a couple of weeks ago, like 1 month or so. And,
how did that one turn out?
Yeah, White won. White won this game and the championship. Yeah, but okay, I'm not sure. It's yeah. Well, Muzichuk played B5 in this position, so it's and I think if I remember this game correctly, Black had really yeah, lots of problems early. So it's interesting to see what Aronian will come up with to improve on this game.
So you think that in the case of C takes D, White will play Knight takes D?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the pawn.
Just to get a strong knight on D5.
Yeah, this is what White is playing for at the moment, to get a strong piece on D5 versus, let's say, the bishop on G7. The G7 bishop is just a somewhat stupid piece at the moment.
Yeah, being blocked in by the pawn on E5.
Yeah, exactly. Black has the bishop pair, which is nice in the long run, but the bishop is not doing so much at the moment, and White tries to use his central advantage here, and also this Rook E3 maneuver is quite interesting.
Yeah, where is that Rook want to end up, on the king side, the queen side, on B3, on H3?
Yeah, the idea often of this Rook maneuver is the following. Let's say Black plays a move like Knight B6. Well, in this game.
By the way, you can also just click on a square with the shift, and it'll highlight the square.
With shift, like oops.
Like as if you were drawing an arrow, but just click the square, and it'll highlight the square.
No, that didn't work. With shift, yeah.
Or with alt. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, the same thing you do for drawing the colors.
Yeah. Okay.
The arrows.
Yeah. The point of this Rook move is the following: Knight B6, for instance, Bishop B3, and then a move like Bishop G4. And on Bishop G4, White wants to be ready to recapture conveniently with the Rook.
Oh, attacking the queen.
Yeah, and also basically, yeah, getting lots of pressure on F7. So this Rook move is a very nice multi-purpose move, because it also can be used in this fashion on the D file, trying to use it here. So sort of placing the Rook in front of the queen, which is often a good configuration. It's often much better than the other way around. And I think this Rook E3 maneuver, this was also played in that Carlsen game that I have in mind, which was quite similar. Not identical, but quite similar. Maybe I should should look it up somehow.
So here's a long-term strategic question. If black does put his bishop on g4, will he probably have to surrender it? If white plays h3, does it have anywhere really good to go? If white just plays h3?
I think let's say this here, and I think black doesn't want to capture really, but retreating it is also not good, which somehow tells you that bishop g4 is not a good idea, as after this move you don't have anything good to play really. You can of course maybe return to d7, but this doesn't seem like a huge progress here. What is this bishop doing?
Yeah, with the rook on d8, bishop looks kind of funny on d7.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see what he's coming up with. This whole variation had a very good reputation for black for quite a long while, but then this idea of rook e3, which I think Carlsen introduced, I'm not 100% sure, but this somehow changed the evaluation a bit, and now this has got the reputation of being somewhat uncomfortable for black, as you can...
It looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But okay, he's got the bishop pair, so that's something to play for.
Yeah, it's something which might help in the long run, but the problem is a bit of those bishops that they're both not doing very much, and often you just wish that you could exchange them off or something to relieve a bit of the pressure here. I'm not sure. This b5 move, which was played in this women game, it was it's about 4 or 5 weeks ago. We can check quickly how that went. So Muzichuk played b5, and then Gunina took on c6. Takes here, 95. So it's a temporary piece sack for one move, and white now gets the piece back. Bishop d7, knight d2, bishop b5, queen c2. Yeah, that's not much fun for black. I mean, you know that I like bishops, but this knight on d5 is more than annoying. Rook c3.
Yeah, to me, that knight looks like... to me, I'd take that knight with just about any bishop.
Rook c3, queen a6, a4. Yeah, this looks a bit ugly. Yeah, and I think white won c4 at the end. Bishop c5, queen c1. Now the rook is protected. And also the knight's doing quite some provokes quite some weakening here. Yeah, I think white was clearly better in this position. Yeah, this doesn't look really like the way to go, as black seems very weak here in the center. So I don't really expect b5. But well, you never know. This it's a very concrete variation. Maybe there's some way to improve this, but it doesn't look fine to me. Also, I want to add that in general for this broadcast, I'm not using an engine. I'm just
yeah, we decided we would try to not use engines unless the game got super crazy and neither of us could figure out what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah, someone is asking if this live stream is sponsored. So yeah, if someone wants to send me a couple of €100, I'll take them. But
hey, I want at least half of that.
Yeah, no, this is just for fun. We're just trying this out and see how it goes. Okay, is there some move yet? Did he play p5? Someone mentioned.
Yeah, he has actually played b5. It just came through on the feed that I'm watching now.
Okay.
So he's going to go in for that line, and I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe this is there are some concrete points here. So let's check quickly. In this game, white took on c6, and well, we can check at which point there might be alternatives. So what else is there? Yeah, well, black. Let's go quickly through the basic possibilities. Just retaking is out of the question because of this move here, and the rook drops. So black cannot recapture.
Yep.
If black, what else could black do? He could move the knight, which looks, oops, maybe like here. But now I can simply play this. Maybe I've got something stronger even, but this should be enough. Black, something like this is just over. And okay, this is also nothing you would like to see on your board. So I think
really black can't take the bishop after knight takes knight, bishop, pawn takes bishop.
This?
No, 2 moves forward. Knight b6, knight d5.
Where? Sorry, I didn't.
Oh, okay. White just retakes the bishop. I got you.
Okay, so I guess this is pretty much forced take here. Then knight d5 looks also quite normal. Black needs to play queen d6. He doesn't have any alternatives really. He can go here, but this walks right into a fork. Oh no, maybe queen c6 here. Okay, this is maybe not so clear cut. Let's quickly check if this move might be any alternative.
Oh, well, let's see. We've got b5. Yep, dc and bishop and pawn takes c4 has come in.
Okay, and then we have got exactly this position. So knight d5 is very logical. I was just trying to figure out if this is the only move. Well, queen e6, it doesn't look great, but I'm not quite sure yet if white can refute it outright.
So what about knight c7?
Yeah, knight c7, I can capture c6 here and cover the rook this way. And here this white has just sacrificed material here, and it's worse.
Okay.
So this wouldn't help much. e6 is a silly square, but maybe white just grabs.
And yeah, he did play knight d5.
Yeah, maybe white just grabs here, and after this. Yeah, the queen is just a bit silly on e6, yeah, maybe. The good thing is, if I'm saying the queen is silly on e6, then maybe Aronian will play it. This is the usual way for commentators not to say, "Oh, this move is complete rubbish," and then he's playing it.
And the better players will play it.
Yeah, okay, but I pretty much expect queen d6.
He played queen d6.
He did, yeah. He did, Jeff.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, well.
I wonder if one side or the other is still in preparation here.
Yeah, of course. They are both deep in preparation because this is a known position, and the question is, well, this position is already slightly simplified, and the question is if this maybe yeah, there's some likelihood that this position is going dead quite quickly, I think, because just
like Drosh.
Yeah, just imagine black has some way to get rid of this knight on d5 in any way. Let's say queen e6. He did play queen e6, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's say white takes here. and then maybe recaptures here. This okay, maybe he can really go knight c7 now, so this is maybe a useless recapture. Let's say he takes with a rook. Let's check this quickly. If this is an alternative.
Yeah.
Idea being bishop b7 and just hacking this knight off the
Grab the
board.
knight, yeah.
And if this happens, black should be completely fine.
But what about the queenside pawns? They're sort of isolated and fractured. Is that not enough to play against for white?
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, well, just let's say concrete moves here. If I play, let's say, what should white play in this position? The rook now on e3 looks a bit silly. It's not doing anything in regards to this pin.
Yeah, but what about queen c2 and then rook followed by rook c3?
Yeah, maybe this is an idea. Okay, let's say I play bishop b7, and I'm now threatening to win this pawn on d5.
Yeah, rook d1.
Yeah, okay, then I grab it. And
yeah, I guess the knight has to go.
yeah, let's just imagine this kind of scenario here. They're not necessarily the best moves, but this kind of position is what I was referring to as dead.
Yeah, this I can see is a complete draw, and I think they would sign. I think they would agree just to draw pretty quick.
Yeah, just the point. If black gets rid of this here, and this would also free up the bishop, as he can always play e4. Then black doesn't have much of a problem. So maybe this is the point of this queen e6 move, that black can recapture here and then quickly get some play going with bishop b7 against this knight on d5. This could be an idea.
So we're up to 70 viewers on the stream right now. So welcome those of you who have some come in kind of recently. You're watching a live feed. Myself and Christoph, we're talking and explaining and streaming the Kramnik Aronian match, which is going on live right now. And this is the first time ever that two 2800 players have played against each other in an extended match. Okay, they play against each other in individual tournaments, but this is just a one-on-one extended match. And we are pretty, well, at least I'm pretty excited for this, and I think Christoph, you are too, and I think the rest of you guys are too, or you wouldn't be here in the morning listening to us talk about it.
Yeah, does white have anything else here? Yeah, he needs to take on d7. What else is there?
Yeah, well, he's got to get his piece back, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you always have to check for tricks, but I don't think there are any here.
I don't see any. I think the knight squares are covered for the moment. And well, yeah, I guess he has to.
Yeah, white has to take. I wonder why he didn't play this already. Or?
It might have, but the move hasn't come through on the feed that I have yet.
Yeah, you always have to check a bit the tactics here, because it's not completely non-tactical, this position. Now, let's just say black is not threatening to take the pawn, because knight e7 wins the queen. So you could imagine some tactical tricks here. I'm not using a comp, so maybe it's completely ridiculous. So let's just for fun look quickly at a move like queen a4. The idea being, if black retreats now or puts the knight somewhere where it doesn't attack the queen, let's say here, you would play this and actually win the rook. Yeah, the queen covers.
Yep, that would win the rook. Yeah.
Yeah, the queen covers c6.
The queen's covering the pawn. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, okay, black can play this move here. And I think this should solve the issue, but you can continue this line. Let's say c7, for instance, attacking the rook, and so on. You can calculate a bit this position. So where does black go now? You take on c4 next. You've got 2 pawns for a piece and quite some knight on d5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most likely the computer will laugh, but I'm it's not completely ridiculous to spend a couple of minutes and even if it's just recapping your home preparation. If
I have some computer lines that are showing up on the feed that I'm looking at for the moves, and I won't spoil your dream by telling you what the comp thinks of the move Queen A4, which is a line that is showing up.
Yeah, it's most likely nonsense, but
it's giving that as -1 for black after Queen A4, Knight C5.
yeah, so it's halfway playable at least, yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad, but it's giving after C takes D7 minuscule advantage for black, like -0.1.
Sorry.
I guess the computer's always like having the bishop pair.
Yeah, just to say I need to. C takes d7, yeah. And he wants to recapture with the rook, I guess, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So that's probably what we're going to see coming up on the board, although I don't see the moves having been relayed yet.
And what engine is this? This is Houdini, most likely.
Houdini 2, yep.
And it's giving this is already slightly minuscule, maybe better for black, yeah?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
I guess probably just because of the bishop pair. That's all I can say.
Yeah, okay, maybe, but this position is wide open also, and the computer should be pretty reliable in this kind of position, I think. So, interesting. Maybe, yeah, I cannot believe this isn't Kramnik's preparation. It was just, if it based on a 5-week-old game, they know this stuff.
So you think that these players are up on the games that have been played in this position, even the one that from the championships from a few weeks ago?
Yeah, of course. They must.
So they really do their homework, huh?
Yeah, they must know this, of course. I mean, even I knew this game. I didn't knew the exact position. I knew that they played the semi-Slav and sort of stuff, and they know the game, of course. But yeah, maybe Kramnik is still slightly surprised. I think his main preparation certainly focused on the classical Queen's Gambit. I think not so much on the semi-Slav, but still he should have some idea.
Something in mind.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, white isn't worse or anything. Not to give this impression. I think it's only yeah. It's for me at the moment hard to see how white reacts to this pressure put on the knight with bishop b7. I also
what about just dropping it back to c3?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. If this is an idea, first of all, you would need to move the queen, but queen c2 is a pretty yeah, natural move, and yeah, just bishop b7. This was the line we had before, and now instead of this rook c1 move, or instead of capturing, this would also be pretty much nothing. Yeah, okay, in this kind of position white is even worse, I think. You might be able to hold, but f5 e4 is coming up, so you don't want to have that. So just drop this knight back to c3. Yeah, you don't want to do that, but
yeah, it looks so beautiful on that square, but what can you do?
Yeah, maybe go into this drawing line. I would certainly prefer this drawing line to this. Trying to get something in a position where black has 2 bishops versus 2 knights. It's always
yeah, it's a little too open for that, I guess.
yeah. Okay, let's put a couple of more moves on the board. Rook a8 maybe would be a very natural move. Black has maybe even the chance to infiltrate somewhere here on d3 or on d2 at some point, if this knight would ever move. And it's hard to imagine what white should try to do here.
Yeah,
Of
this
course,
actually just looks much better for black.
yeah, maybe it's not the end of the world for white, but it's not the kind of position where you try to win. Really, it's not looking good.
Well, Kramnik is in the thinking box here, so he's trying to come up with something. I'm not sure. I think we're still in the position where he still has to retake his piece. So I don't know. C takes d7 looks pretty obvious to me.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just spending time now to think about what his plan will be in the future.
Yeah, maybe, but okay. As I said, moves like this are for a human not completely ridiculous. I would think about this at least a bit, but the strange thing is that he's thinking at all.
Yeah.
Because you should have some prep here and worked out before if CD7 is a move or not. But okay, these guys also cannot prepare everything, so you basically automatically assume once it is below move 20 they should know their stuff, but it's not always the case.
And also we should mention that in the event that this does peter out to a quick draw, they will play a rapid game for the spectators. That doesn't count towards the official match score, but you know, people are showing up to see these guys play, and if the game is a draw and 25 moves, then they really get their money's worth. So if this game does become a quick draw, we'll hang out here and cover the rapid match as well, which they'll play. And I'm not sure what the time controls for that will be, but probably like 25 minutes or half an hour on each clock or something.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea really, because it can always happen that yeah, it's just unlucky preparation and the position is completely dead, and it's really, I don't see a point in continuing for ages in a completely boring position. You might as well draw it and then let's play some action game after this. So
yeah.
This is much better than letting them play by some sort of rule to play always 60 moves or something. In general, I'm in favor of this rule, but for such a match, this has a training purpose and also a little bit of an entertainment purpose. I think it's better just to do this with this rapid game.
Yeah, so, I agree. It would be tough to do that in a larger tournament.
Yeah.
So just for two people, Blaze5 asks, I just joined. So Kramnik is white? Question mark. Yes, welcome Blaze P5. Kramnik is white, and we had a semi-Slav opening, and the position you see on the board right now is the current position. And Kramnik has been in the thinking box for a while here, and we're just not sure why, because it seems like he has to retake his piece on d7 with pawn takes d7, but you know, maybe he's looking at some other stuff, and he'll blitz out his next few moves, you know.
Very hard for me to believe that this is not preparation. Obviously it is by Aronian, but yeah, from Aronian's point of view, it's quite clear that this is still preparation, because he went for the semi-Slav, which he of course played before, but is maybe a slight surprise in this match, as he played the Queen's Gambit decline so steadily the last couple of tournaments. And Black doesn't have so much choice before this, and so let's say the position after the 10th move, bishop g7. Just put this up quickly. This is basically the main position after 5h6 and white captures. And e4, rook, e1 and e4 are also the completely normal moves. So very, very likely that this is at least Aronian's prep. Okay.
I would think these moves came pretty quickly. This would probably be in both of their preps at this point, but
yeah.
Strange that Kramnik is already out so soon. Yeah, Blaze P5. We were thinking after Knight C7, Queen takes C6, Knight takes A8, Queen takes A8, and Black has already given up a piece on C4, which was his light square bishop. So he'll have 2 pieces for the rook and down a pawn. So that's just not good.
Yeah, this is this variation.
Yeah. So this is just 2 pieces for a rook, and not even a pawn. It's just down a pawn, right? Or is he up a pawn? Let's see.
Yeah, pawn-wise it's identical, but Black has 2 2 minor pieces, 2 bishops for especially, and also the potential to sink this knight into d3. Knight. Now time for me to use these cool arrows again. Also, this might be an idea. Of course, after you do something about the rook on d8. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, that looks crushing.
Oops. How do I get these arrows? How do I get rid of these? So this looks tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, I managed somehow. Okay, at the end he will take on d7. Maybe he's calculating a bit of this knight a4 move. Queen a4 move, of course, not knight a4, queen a4. But I don't see anything else really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will take it.
Yeah, maybe it's, I don't know how these top level players choose to, use their time. But is it possible that he's like, okay, I know I'm going to play pawn takes d7, but let me explore what happens in the position after that, or is it just like, oh, should they just play the move and then think later about it? I don't know.
Yeah, usually they're practical enough to just take and save that time. But I'm not sure what Kramnik is doing. Maybe he's trying to remember something a little bit later in the course of events. This is possible, that he had this prepared somehow but forgot it and now tries to remember how it is continued. Yeah, this is, I think, a huge part of modern Grandmaster chess on the top level is just remembering your analysis. This is
well, with all the theory that develops every day, it must be tough keeping all of that in your head.
Yeah, but let's just explore this once again quickly. Rook d7 is very logical. So does White have anything entirely different here?
The problem for White, I think, is that Black's king is too safe to drum up anything. Even with the rook on the e file, which could easily switch over to like h3 or something. In some positions, like if that bishop were on c8 and such, but I don't know. I always feel pretty safe when my opponent doesn't have a dark square bishop and I have my king being get out on that side with the dark square bishop.
Yeah, there won't be any mating attacks in this game.
And no mating attacks for White. Maybe Black can drum up something, but unlikely.
Yeah, it's really, I have some problems to imagine what White would try here in this position to avoid bishop b7 and just Black liquidating on d5, at least liquidating to get a draw for Black.
Sacrificing a pawn would be ludicrous, right?
Yeah.
Just stacking the pawn on d5 for the pawn on c4 seems like a crazy idea to me, but maybe it's something. But then I guess e4 comes, and then for Black e4 comes, and then it just looks like a mess.
Yeah. It's hard. I don't think White has anything here, but maybe maybe I'm too negative here because I like the bishops so much, but
You do love your bishops.
yeah, but this is nothing nothing special really. A lot of even top players have a huge preference for the bishop, and the bishop is just better than the knight. This is no question.
In most cases.
Yeah, in most cases it is, right.
What about a nice knight there on d3? I think that could be better than a bishop in a lot of cases.
Yeah, of course, it's just dependent on the position, but
most cases the bishop is usually stronger.
Yeah, very often. It's just
I guess as long as the pawn structure on e4, e5 stays the same, black's bishop on g7 it's not doing much except for protecting the king.
Yeah.
So you can say that black has the bishop pair, but one of the bishops is restricted. The one on b7 could be a very nice piece, but
yeah, black has possibilities of bishop f8 to c5 is one idea, and also h5 bishop h6 can be an idea. For instance, if white tries to play rook c1 at some point, then the bishop on h6 would be quite annoying. And well, what I was just thinking, just imagine this position here, and just let's for argument's sake say there wouldn't be a pawn on c4.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just take this pawn away, and let's say for this pawn black is to move. Just an argument, yeah? Imagine the pawn is gone and black moves bishop b7 in this position.
Okay.
Even this is just nothing for white. Rook d3, rook d8, and I have so much pressure in the center that white is never better. Never. So, very interesting to see what you will come up with. Besides,
you think that even with the pawn just gone and white up a pawn for no reason?
Yeah, for tempo. Bishop b7. I need bishop b7.
And bishop b7.
Yeah. If it was the pawn would be gone in this position and white's move, white can play rook d3 and bishop b7 is not possible because of knight f6 check. Just a tactical reason.
Yeah, picking up the rook.
Yeah, but it's easily possible that black would, if he would have slightly better pieces, like one tempo more or something, then this is even a position which warrants compensation for a pawn easily. Two bishops.
Visto18 in the chat says, "Don't know why Kramnik is wasting time here." Yeah, we don't know why either.
Yeah,
the position you see right now is not the one that's currently on the board, but what we expect to show up on the board very shortly. And we're not sure why he's spending so much time in the box here.
I don't get it either. I actually, to understand this time management, I quickly pulled up the engine actually and just tried quickly if there's any other feasible move, and the engine Houdini here actually gave knight b4 as only 0.6 for black. So but what kind of move is this? This is completely ridiculous. I've never seen a game of chess where a knight is good on b4, really.
Well, okay, but okay, so just to mention, the knight is pinned on d7 in this case. So the knight, he can't move the knight, or does he have any square where he protects the rook? No, he can't move the knight because it's pinned to the rook. So
but black is, the move is completely idiotic. If black plays a5, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. Well, going back to d7, d5.
Yeah, you need to capture on d7.
Yep.
And then return back to d5. It's completely ridiculous. So of course this line is given as clearly better for black. Also 0.6 is quite much. So this move is even more ridiculous than queen a4, which at least I think merits some minutes. Let's say you invest 3 or 4 minutes to check if this is maybe possible, but then you should really take on d7. Yeah, and we'll get this position. Rook d7, we'll get this, and then then it will be interesting.
Well, Kramnik is one of the best players of the generation, so you got to give him some credit that he sort of knows what he's doing. But is very strange. Very, very strange.
So what could white do here? Let's think about maybe some other piece configurations. What I would like to do as white is, of course, win the c4 pawn after all. So if I've got the time, I would like to play something along the lines of, let's say, queen c2 to get the queen out of the d file.
Yeah.
Rook c3, and then at the end knight e3 to c4. This would be just great. The knight on c4 would nicely block the c file, let's say b3 later, and I'm just a pawn up. Black has the bishop pair, okay, but the problem is I don't see how you can get to this.
Yeah, Black can make moves in between, that is the problem.
Yeah. So first move would be queen c2, bishop b7, and then this thing on d5 is just hanging, and I don't know what white might do here, besides liquidating. What is possible is that he's maybe thinking a bit at this position because he sort of anticipates exactly this here, and maybe thinks, okay, this is a draw already, so do I have something else?
What about, let's go back to the position with rook d7 on the board, and then bishop b7.
Yeah, rook d7, and then queen c2?
Queen c2, yeah, bishop b7. What about knight b4?
Knight where? Sorry.
Knight b4.
What is the knight doing there? If I just kick it? If I just kick it, do you return to d5? I'm just...
Take what?
Where do you get...
Okay, it just gets... Yeah, that's true. It just gets kicked away with b4.
Yeah, and I get this pawn here.
But
yeah, this is... The knight doesn't have any good... The only other good square, halfway good square, would be e3, but there's a rook on this square.
Yeah, the rook's already on e3.
And
just Kramnik in the chat is asking, if he plays knight c7 and takes the two pieces for the rook, is it any good? Probably not, because two pieces for the rook usually favors the side with two pieces, and also in this case he would be down a pawn for the two pieces as well.
Yeah, the problem is here also that sometimes these kind of exchanges are an idea.
Oh no, he's not down a pawn.
No, it's not down a pawn. But sometimes this can be an idea if white has great activity for his rooks. He's got one rook for the two pieces, and if this rook is very active and doing some concrete damage, then this kind of material imbalance can be an idea. The issue here is only the rook on a1 is doing nothing, and the one on e3 is not going anywhere. He cannot even go to d3, which would be an idea to sort of pin the knight, but white doesn't have a decent move in this position. Let's say...
we have a comment. Mateus1234, I guess, is watching the live feed of the match, is saying Kramnik is looking very frustrated. And I guess that's showing, because he's really not making any move here.
Yeah, it's maybe he's sort of getting aware that this is just nothing.
Yeah.
But then it's very questionable what kind of preparation is at work here, because it's queen e6 is also, I checked this in between, is the first choice of Houdini, so it's not exactly revolutionary move. I don't know, maybe he just didn't expect the semi-Slav, but
well, just for the sake of argument, since we're killing time here, I know we didn't want to use the engine, but Houdini is actually giving me the line. I see c takes d7, rook takes d7, and then b3 for white.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this briefly. I didn't think it would give much, but the idea would be to sort of accept that this pawn is also, it's maybe a bit weak, but also annoying, as it somehow hinders the rook, and this might win some time, as black I think would capture. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It's
Yeah.
just it's giving c takes b3, queen takes b3, bishop b7,
Yeah.
rook d1,
Rook c1.
rook d1
Rook
after
d1.
bishop
Yeah.
b7.
Yeah. Yeah. This looks like a pretty safe choice for white.
Okay, at least white can hold the knight on d5 here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But really, what else? What is there in the position for white to really play for a win?
Yeah. It's
I mean,
yeah.
do you see anything for white here in
This
terms of
looks
winning chances?
quite equal to me. Of course, I would try to win as black because I've got those two nice pointy sticks here. b7 on g7, but
You really love your bishops.
of course it's not so clear cut. The d5 knight is strong, of course, but it's the problem here is a bit that the pawn structure is completely symmetrical, and therefore it's quite hard to to find any concrete place or point of attack. Very often the pawn structure being somewhat non-symmetrical, you have some natural weaknesses somewhere, or you have got an extra pawn on one side where you like to push the pawns, and this is hard to see in this position. But this looks very safe, of course. The knight d5 just blocks the center completely, and black is also not able to do much. He's got the two bishops, fine, but they are not doing so much at the moment, and you cannot really play around this knight on d5. There are some instances where you can actually somehow play around such a strong piece and somehow sneak your pieces around this piece, but it's hard to imagine here.
Yeah, and also to my eye, the queen looks very precariously placed on these open files. Like I can't imagine the queen being able to stay somewhere on these B and C files where it maintains protection of the knight forever, just because of the rook coming to the B file and threatening discoveries if the other rook were to go back to D8 or something like that. It just seems it seems dangerous. I never like having my queen on any open file that my opponent has. It can stick a rook.
If you continue this line, rook d8, yeah. If you continue this a bit, black threatening now again on d5, rook d3, just covering, and and here one very ambitious try is, which someone here, Mattis on the chat, suggested, is to try to undermine the knight with f5. Yeah, this is an
F5,
idea.
Yeah.
This is an idea. We're thinking about this. Okay, it's not possible at the moment, but black can prepare this with some move like this here, king h8, and then try f5. And if this f5 move is working without immediately...
Why don't we show the users why f5 is tactically ruled out in this position?
Yeah, this...
Knight f6 check.
This diagonal here is just a problem. So this here, the queen is hanging on e8, so black
knight f6 check picks up the queen. As well as, even if it wasn't, it would also pick up a rook.
Yeah, it picks about everything. White wins the whole set of pieces here. But you can prepare this, king h8. And this is very ambitious, but okay, this would be most probably my move here, to try to get something going. It's not damaging anything. I don't think, or does this blunder material in some way? You always have to be cautious because, there's a lot of, let's say, energy on the d file. You need to check those discoveries and so on, and white is also potentially weak on the back rank. Not sure. King h8, is there some trick here? I don't see one at the moment, really.
No, I don't see one. Mega King, is it bad for Kramnik that he lost so much time already? Yeah. We're thinking it's very strange as well. I can't imagine that this is good.
I think do we have the clock times? I think it would be. We have got. I'm only looking at my normal clock here, and it's 4 o'clock. So the game is running for about an hour, and I don't think Aronian has spent any time.
Yeah, no,
Or like 10
I don't
minutes
see
or
clock
something.
times on the feed.
So most likely Kramnik is pretty much down on the clock. But maybe he's, I'm not sure, hard to tell. I'm not a 2800 player. But maybe he's just trying to find a safe way to draw this position. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Somehow trying to find...
Is it really that he's just trying to draw at this point?
Yeah, well, it's hard to play against two bishops.
Yeah.
It's just if you don't have anything concretely going for you, then it will be difficult. Let's say this position king h8, and now let's say white plays some sort of normal move. I'm not sure, not good, but some quiet move, and black's really springs this f5 on you. Yeah, this can easily get very ugly. Maybe it's not working tactically, but
okay, so C takes d7 has now been played.
All right. Very reassuring that it's not something completely crazy happening. I just want to pull up an old Fritz quickly to check if this is completely crazy. No, he gives black some advantage, so it's not blundering a piece or something. You could, yeah. Oops. Okay, so it's not a piece blunder or anything.
All right.
So let's switch this off again.
I guess we can expect Rook takes d7 now.
Yeah, and then I'm curious what he's doing. I've got in this position I've got lots of arrows here. Let's say, oops, I get them together. Oops. Funny.
It takes a little practice.
It should be easier to remove, I think.
You have to really start at the where the arrow starts and go all the way through.
Okay, now I managed to get rid of all the the fun graphics. Yeah, someone is asking about a recap of the game. Yeah, we can do that quickly. It's not there are not
Sure.
so many moves played. So Kramnik started with knight f3. He's varying between knight f3 and d4. Just often just it leads to the same position. We got a Slav, and now after knight c3 e6 a semi-Slav. Kramnik now went for bishop g5, which is the sharpest move really, as it allows this Botvinnik line. But of course, Aronian didn't went for this. It's slightly suspicious, this line. So he went h6, actually offering white the chance to play bishop h4, which also would be a very sharp line. But Kramnik played the safe move with taking on f6, then e3, which covers c4 and prepares developing of the bishop. Knight d7, bishop d3. In this position, instead of bishop d3, white has played quite a lot of alternatives, trying to sort of win a tempo. Let's say a3, rook c1, but at the end bishop d3 has always stayed the main move. And now g6, castles, bishop g7, rook e1, castles, e4, e5. Yeah, and we're getting close to the game position. White played d5 here as d4 was hanging. Rook d8, rook e3, b5, very concrete approach. Takes, bishop knight d5, and now queen e6, which is the novelty in this game. And as queen d6 has been played in a recent game, the final game of the European championships, individual championships for women, and this was a decisive game for the title, very important game between Gunina and Muzichuk. where Muzichuk went queen d6, takes, and you can immediately see the difference between queen e6 and d6, as now black's pieces are somewhat clumsy on the d file, and he doesn't, or in this case she, she didn't get much play against this knight, and this bishop knight d2 here immediately attacked c4, and she went protecting this this pawn. And in the game, Aronian went for queen to e6. Kramnik took, and now rook d7. Has this already been played? Guess so, yeah?
Yep. Yeah. Rook d7 came in.
Okay, rook d7. And now you can see that this kind of setup in a way makes much more sense, as bishop b7 puts pressure on the d5 knight instead of passively defending the c4 pawn. Just compare, in this position black was sort of defending this pawn, sitting there rather passive with the bishop, this one. And here rook d7, bishop b7 will be much more active in comparison.
Oh, we have King's Crusher joining us in the chat. Hello, King's Crusher. He's saying hi.
No, I don't see it. Is my chat lagging in a way?
Possibly. Maybe mine. He is the newest chat in there for me. So it says hi, Chess Explainer. Hi, CE.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So rook d7. Let's see what Kramnik is coming up with. It's yeah. Well, I think it's the kind of position.
I think this is probably where he spent a lot of time in the last thinking tank he went into there, just trying to figure something out here. So I guess we'll see what he came up with, because white really has to do something here, or else, there's really nothing in the position to try to play for a win. It's sort of the conclusion we've come to.
Yeah, so it always feels weird to me if someone is thinking long in a position where you basically just have one move and trying to figure out what is happening later. Because it always feels to me like some sort of game where you don't win anything, because you never know what your opponent might do. Maybe he will spend some time as well. I don't know. It's of course, in this position rook d7 is very logically played immediately okay, but sometimes you are amazed how much time people spend in completely simple positions, and it just makes sense sometimes to play your only move and let the other guy's clock run down.
Well, we've got a move. Kramnik played queen a4.
Yeah, we didn't have this one yet, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't take a look at this.
Yeah, okay, but it's fairly logical, of course, as well. Yeah, bishop b7. Bishop b7 seems very normal here.
Yeah. And then what about queen takes c4?
Yeah, this is actually a position we had before, briefly.
We did look at this, yeah.
Yeah, via queen c2. I just pull up the line we had on queen c2. Takes, and this was this kind of line where I was skeptical if white is even equal here.
Yeah, you were thinking that after f4.
f5, e4, yeah. Yeah, this is at least equal.
But I would say this is significantly better for black if f4 and e5 were to just be played.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Okay, white has chances to create an outside pass pawn, but the bishop is just a monster.
Yeah, especially combined with the center f5, e4. So yeah. This won't be the idea, I think. Or maybe so maybe white needs to do something else in this position. It's not exactly that I'm seeing anything right here.
So we think we're ruling out anything after queen takes c4.
Yeah, not entirely maybe, but we can check again. Let's check this quickly. I take here. This is the only move. Takes here. Of course, white doesn't necessarily need to trade now, but what else is there?
Well, let's say for argument's sake, he wants to keep queens on the board. Where should the queen go?
Yeah, the problem is simply let's say queen a4. Yeah, just to put it on the board. It doesn't matter really because any queen move is bad actually. So I play e4. Oh, sorry, this is not possible. Okay, maybe for a draw, but
black is queen a4. Yeah, white almost is tied down a little bit to the back rank in this position. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'm thinking what black would play now. Maybe just rook c8, grabbing the c file also. I've got the d file already, so I want c file also.
What about something like rook d8, threatening e4, and then back rank ideas?
It's no mate really, but what first this one might. Is this? Oops, no, not this one. I was thinking briefly about this move. This is maybe possible. The idea being that this might win a pawn at the end. I'm not mate here. I've got d1 covered with the queen, so this would be an extra pawn.
Yep.
Okay, it's still nothing for white. Rook c2. But yeah, you're just fighting against the better minor piece here with white, so it's difficult. Maybe this is not the best even. Maybe black.
Well, Kramnik played queen takes c4.
He took
bishop b7. He takes c4.
He took okay. Yeah, it's just what can you do? I guess the rapid clause will come into play, but
So
or maybe
draw pretty quick.
Possibly, yeah, it's possible.
Huh. Well, so we're expecting now. Bishop takes d5. But actually, what about rook c8?
Rook d8 or c8?
c8.
Yeah.
Chasing the queen.
Yeah, it's very valid point. Just winning a tempo here, more or less. Where should I go now? I don't have a great square really.
b3 or b5, I guess.
Oops. Yeah, I can then I just grab it. I have an extra tempo here.
Yeah, it's just an extra tempo to get your rook on the c file.
Yeah, black is better here, no question. So white white needs to find a clearer way to draw here. Maybe let's say he takes here and rook e1, preventing e4 this way, or at least this wouldn't be a huge problem. I can take here, and I'm attacking e5. Maybe this is stable enough. Yeah, this should still be
probably alright.
This should still be okay.
The pawn structure being completely symmetrical, the only thing would be the bishop versus the knight, but is there enough for really the bishop to be doing in that type of position?
Yeah, if you get in f5 e4, then it's very nice. You pretty much dominate then. It says in just a second, in my chat here, the chat channel, it says no such channel. So is chat somehow down or something? What is the last?
I still see the chat.
What is?
By the way, bishop takes d5. He takes d5 was played.
What is the last thing you see in the chat?
The last thing I see is maybe rook. Matt is 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe rook c8, and say h3, then rook c5.
Okay, I'm refreshing now. Want to see.
Yeah, I think the chat's still coming in here. But in the meantime, Kramnik decided to try to play for a guess of win here. He played e takes d5 instead of queen takes d5, which is what we were looking at.
What? Sorry. We had bishop d5, e d5.
Yep, and e d5. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So on queen c4, Aronian took. Yeah, he didn't play rook c8.
Yeah, he took. Didn't play c8.
Okay, this is interesting. I was really expecting this move. It's just the tempo.
Yeah, looked like just a tempo. Yeah, chess start. Why didn't black throw in rook c8, queen check? We're not sure. Looks good to us, but anyway, the position on the board is.
One idea, at least, could be of the immediate taking here could be e takes d5, and I was always taking with the queen. One idea could be to take with the rook, and in this position the queen on c4, which is still on c4 and not after rook c8 on some other square, it would be unprotected, and then rook d1 maybe.
Yeah.
Could be an idea.
That could be possible. Where would the queen? I mean, it's pretty clear the queen has to move somewhere in this case, but where?
Is it clear?
Well,
yeah, maybe.
Well, I guess you could play like rook c3 or c1.
Yeah, or you could also maybe play a move like this here. It's not completely ridiculous, but like rook e1, but it's not a great move. I agree. This could be an idea because the rook on d5 is not badly placed. It covers also e5 from the side.
Yeah.
And maybe something like queen d6 or something, and then f5. Yeah, King's Crusher suggests rook a1. Yeah, sure, this is possible.
Yeah, or what about rook a1? Yeah, just doubling on the pawn, but it's somebody saying rook d7 takes d. Yeah, so he's played queen takes d5. It's just coming in.
Okay, he went for this. I need to quickly sort of tidy up my moves here, that I still have the actual game position. So this position, which we already had on the board 40 minutes ago, actually occurred. Yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at this a while ago.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Kramnik spent a lot of time thinking. For those of you who are just joining us, and I'm not sure how many of you have been just joining us, but Kramnik spent strangely a lot of time thinking in a position that looked pretty obvious. And for a while, probably half an hour, 40 minutes ago, Christoph and I were looking at this exact position. So it's now turned up, and I guess we'll see what Kramnik has in mind. I guess maybe neither side has. Only black has maybe chances to play for a win here, but it looks pretty drawish or pretty even. I guess that was our eventual conclusion.
Yeah, I would sort of expect now maybe white taking rook a1, and this way threatening on e5. And now, what should black do? e5 is hanging. The cheap way would be e4 and immediate shake hands. Yeah, this is the simplest way, and even that. Okay. I'm just thinking, is this equal or still better for black? But maybe this is equal. White has some rook a4, maybe some active move. Black is somewhat threatening rook a5, a2, and so on. The bishop is a bit annoying, but okay, white will draw this.
Yeah,
nothing.
I think the technique at that level will be pretty high.
So maybe black should just cover e5. Maybe, yeah.
Rook e8?
Yeah, rook e8 is very... Yeah, it's possible, but yeah, you don't want your rooks defend all the time. More like...
What else? F6?
Yeah, maybe f6. It's a bit ugly.
Yeah, but then the bishop f8 and then something.
Yeah, you can try to activate this piece. One thing though...
but there's still that outside pawn majority.
Rook c1, yeah, I don't think this will be a factor really.
I guess if Aronian just wants to play no risk chess and just go for the draw immediately, something that you can be guaranteed you will never ever ever lose, then this line with e4 looks like it makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, this is just the super safe option. Yeah. Okay, but I think these kind of positions here, I would, at least these people maybe not, would need a bit of time to figure out if there's actually something to play for one side or not, because it's a bit, yeah, it's not so completely easy, because white of course has this 2 versus 1, so he can potentially get a passed pawn at some time, but very often this is just this is just something you read in a book but never experience in a real game of chess. Very often this doesn't mean anything.
What are you saying? Outside pass pawns don't mean anything?
Yes, very often this 3 against 2 on the queen side, 2 against 1. Very often it just isn't so. Yeah, it's not so important if there are other factors. For instance, in this position, if black can play bishop f8, bishop c5, or somehow use this bishop, how do you advance your pawns with a completely idiotic piece on f3? This knight is just doing nothing. It's doing nothing. It's also going nowhere. Yeah, this knight is just stupid. So this is much more important than those 2 against 1. And also note that black is somewhat quicker in getting his king involved here. This is often an advantage of moving the f-pawn, that you get your king into play quicker. White would need some more time to get his king into something. So, okay, I managed to...
So someone in the chat is mentioning that queen e2 has been played. I don't see that on my feed yet that I'm watching on the game, but we could take a look at possibilities there. I guess Kramnik is trying to drum up something here. Oh, no, he's saying misheard commentators. Never mind. Queen e2 hasn't been played.
Queen e2? Okay. Yeah, but this isn't a bad idea. You can think about this. The only thing what bothers me a bit is d5 is not exactly a bad square for the queen, and you somehow want to get rid of this queen. It just looks a bit awful to let it stay there. Especially,
as long as it's staying there with the current pawn structure, it's also tying down the A-rook a little bit.
Yeah.
King's Crusher says h4 here. I'm not sure. KC, what does that mean? You want to play h4? Turn up some kind of attack?
After queen e2, in this queen e2 position?
No, I think he said that before queen e2. So maybe I'm not sure what's next.
In the end game?
Not exactly sure. But, okay, so nothing has come through on the board that I have here. Just for those of you who are curious, computer is giving slight advantage for black in the current position, -3.
0.3 something, yeah?
Yeah. Well, 0.27.
Yeah, this looks... Well, this sounds pretty... Yeah, pretty... understandable. Sometimes you have no idea what the computer actually wants to tell you, but this is just a little bit better for black. It's not only the potentially better minor piece, but also the extra center pawn.
Yeah.
This is often really a misconception that quite a lot of players have, that this majority on the queen side is an automatic advantage. Usually, what you pay for this majority on the queen side is a disadvantage in the center. You usually have one central pawn less than your opponent, and very often the center is quite an important aspect of the game. So very often this is outbalanced. Often this kind of 3-2 or 2-1 majority is only a real factor if there are some other things going for you. It's like if you control, let's say, the d file in some position, and you have got a nice control of the open file, and you've got on top this advantage of 3-2 or something, then very often this is some sort of additional advantage that can help you press something else home, but on its own it's not an advantage usually that can help you, that wins you the game outright or something. So
interesting. Don't listen to your chess books that tell you that outside pass pawns or outside majorities are always good.
Yeah, they're hardly. Usually they don't hurt. Yeah, but it's not so great. There are sometimes I see people telling, I've got 3-1 and I'm very good here and so on, and basically it's just nothing. You better.
Oh, we have some moves in this play. He did trade queens. Rook takes d5. Rook takes d5. Rook takes d5.
And rook e1.
Rook e1 and rook e8.
Yeah, very logical.
So this is fizzling out.
Rook e8, yeah? Rook e8?
Yeah, rook e8.
Okay, yeah, this was the move you suggested, right? And I just said I don't want to protect passively, but okay, the idea here is, of course, or maybe the idea is really f5 e4. So it's not a passive move, maybe. Yeah,
I guess you could play for f5 and e4 if you want to.
If you get this in and don't get punished immediately in whatever way, I'm not seeing it. But if you don't have any particular problems, then you will be very fine.
Is there any way for white to try to drum up something against the a pawn? Rook a3 something?
Just a second, I need to somehow change this here. Rook e8, rook a3.
I guess
one issue is you would like to play e4 immediately.
Yeah, where's knight going at e4?
But you cannot take here because e8 e8 is hanging. So maybe this is a bit premature to advance the pawn, but maybe you can just go here and use the rook on the 5th rank here to cover this. And then it's, I don't know, questionable if you accomplished anything with this rook.
Rook e4 rook e4 a4. I'm just trying anything to drum up some pressure for white here in this position.
You suggest this one?
I'm just suggesting a maneuver, rook e4 a4.
Yeah, but I can give this check here, at least this. But let's say no. This is maybe even stronger. f5, and you get mated. So after f5, you just need to return to e1. This smells like disaster, really.
Yeah.
So I think white cannot decentralize his rook here. He needs to think about something else. Maybe
Well, for those of you who aren't aware yet, if this game does agree to be a quick draw, then they will play a rapid game following it, which doesn't count towards the official match score, but should be fun, and we'll take a look at that as well. Unkulu. It's actually a good idea. I don't know if the moves are coming in any faster on that site than on the site that I'm watching, but I'll see what it's doing. Okay, my idea for coming up with anything was to try to get that maneuver in.
Yeah, someone suggested g4, and I was just saying that this is an idea I wasn't too sure because it's somewhat weakening, of course, but this really fights against
actually,
f5.
I think it's been played.
Yeah, it has been played. It has been played. Someone said it on the chat. So g4.
G4 has been played.
Yeah, what I wasn't sure of, I was thinking about this, but I thought, okay, what if I go f5 anyway? Let's say here, and what's your idea now? One idea, of course, in general, it's somehow robs black of some dynamism here, this exchange, but I'm not sure about the concrete idea. Still e4 is threatening, so I was thinking knight h4.
So what about knight coming to h4?
Yeah, knight h4, yeah. But I'm not sure if it is doing something here really. If I go e4 now, is this knight really well positioned?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But there's the g file. Maybe there's some play on the g file for white.
Yeah, maybe. Also, at some point, not here, maybe f3 to further attack the pawns. Yeah, could be an idea. f5 is of course the critical move here. Black doesn't need to do it immediately. White isn't really threatening something. So black could also try to move something like a5 or similar, so some slight strengthening move maybe. But that's an interesting suggestion not to take on f5. Yeah, this is a good idea. Or at least it's worth looking at. Attacking both f5 and g6 this way.
Oh, knight h4, yeah.
It might transpose, but I'm not sure. I was just thinking maybe black can go e4 anyway, but of course g6 is hanging, and I don't see f4. I can take it. Or do you mean in this position f4?
I meant f4 with the pawn still on e5.
Yeah, this isn't really desirable. I can block now and drop the knight back, and you're trying to somehow deaden your bishop here, kill your bishop.
Yeah, plus the e4 square is very nice.
Yeah, if you come to e4, it's not easy for the knight to get there, but yeah, this is not a move black really wants to play.
Well, even just the knight coming back to f3 will at least blockade.
Yeah, knight h4 here is an interesting try, but yeah, it needs further analysis. Also, black might consider simply to take here. So takes here, and then trying to make use of the fact that this knight is a bit stranded here. It attacks e5, but let's say you just attack it, and I think white will most likely go to h4. You could go here. I was thinking rook d2 then. Yeah, complicated.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
Yeah, but knight h4 looks like a good idea. I think it's maybe the better move in comparison to taking and knight h4. So yeah, interesting. But the question is if black really wants to immediately go f5, or if he goes for something else.
What about a scheme where he delays f5, maybe prepares it? Well, the problem is with all the pressure on the e5 pawn, you can't he can't. He doesn't have any piece freedom. But I was thinking something like rook to f8, f5, maneuvering the bishop around to the a7, g1 diagonal, and maybe some pressure on f7, f2. But
yeah.
I guess he doesn't really have the freedom of the piece movement because they're all tied down to
this was
e5 right now. But he can play f6.
Yeah, this was he played f6. Yeah, why didn't he play f6 like I told him before? No, this is what I was just trying to explain. This was why I suggested f6 here in this position.
Yeah, Aronian, we were telling you about this half an hour ago.
Just a joke, but this was the idea why I suggested f6. It's looking ugly, but it protects e5 very reliably, so you can move your other pieces. Okay, but it pretty much came to a similar position, so he went not f5 but f6 here. Of course the difference is he played here f6 only after white went g4. This is quite some difference, of course, but it's a similar structure at least.
Wait, are you saying he played f6? I don't see that move.
Didn't someone say f6 played? No?
No, I don't think so. I don't see it having come up on the feed from the website.
Okay, so maybe we are talking nonsense here. But I don't think it's such a bad move, really. But not sure. But of course you need to calculate f5. It's the most active possibility. But this is probably not bad.
Okay, now on the feed I have coming up king h7 has been played, and I can see the clock times also on this website. So Aronian has an hour and 22 minutes remaining. Kramnik has 53 minutes remaining, and the move was king h7 for black.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, this is maybe due to the idea of f5, knight h4.
Just to cover the g-pawn?
Yeah, to cover g6, that knight h4 isn't a tempo.
Okay.
On f5, knight, no? And now I see h4 also suggested. The idea being h5. Yeah, I think this is an interesting try. Sometimes you can try to sort of play in a way to get squares for your knight. You need squares for this piece, and this is trying to get squares. h4 has the idea of maybe going h5, and just for argument's sake, h4, a5, h5, something like this maybe. Then you would have some idea of getting a knight to this square, or even sometimes let's say something like this here. This also might be an idea, and in this kind of position you manage to prevent f6 for quite a while, and then you can try to get your knight also to e4 without having to worry about the f-pawn moving due to the en passant capture. So this kind of structure can also be beneficial for white, because you've got this e4 stronghold for the knight. So
yeah, I think with the knight on e4, at least white would have chances to do something in this position.
Yeah, this isn't too bad. So this move h4 is something to consider. The only thing is you need to do some calculation on f5 again, as now knight h4 is definitely not possible. But h5 maybe is something to look at.
h5.
I can just take though.
Takes.
Yeah, I can just retake, and I've got an extra pawn. It's nothing great coming up here.
Yeah.
And on f5, if you need to capture now, then this h4 move was quite terrible. Just a weakness.
Yeah.
You don't have knight h4 anymore, and possibly this pawn can get really weak, like bishop f6 and e4, and it's gone.
Yeah.
This can be quickly backfiring on white. So maybe f5, maybe you can think of g5, but now e4 is a very nice pawn chain, and once the rook on e8 is moved, then this knight will be posed a very serious question.
Yeah.
Where would you go, please? And it doesn't really have anything to go to.
Yeah, it doesn't have any outposts at all.
I don't think
f6, but it hasn't get there.
I don't think really. Don't think h4 is a good move. Maybe one. What, g5?
Yeah, Houdini suggests g5 here.
Yeah, okay. This is the same positional idea that I mentioned before. If black goes...
Yeah, trying to get the knight to e4.
No, now you have e4 as a potential outpost. But,
or g4 if pawn takes.
Yeah, I was just wondering what happens if I take here.
Yeah,
this kind of stuff.
Oh no, check.
Isn't this just good for black? Or is there some concrete tactical issue? This just.
What about rook h3?
Yeah, but this isn't going anywhere.
It doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
No, you don't have any attacking chances here.
Yeah, the bishop is just such a good defender.
Yeah, you don't have anything attacking wise. I'm not quite sure what's the exact point here. Only thing I can.
Well, Houdini gives the line g5, hg, knight takes g5 check, king g8, rook a3.
Rook a3?
Yeah.
Okay.
So trying to pick on the a pawn. And it gives rook e7. And rough equality, slight advantage for black.
Yeah, it's playable.
The problem is, what about bishop h6? The knight needs to go, or to play h4. Where's the knight going?
Yeah, it still doesn't have any good positions to go to, and just from a positional or strategical point of view, this whole action here, led to white having 3 pawn islands.
Yeah.
And black has just 2. So.
What do you think about the chess book saying about pawn islands?
Yeah, okay. It's well, pieces are also important, like activity, but
yeah.
And when I mentioned this thing about outside majority 3-2 and so on, I'm not rewriting chess theory here. You just need to pick up a modern middle game book, and it just tells you the same thing. It's not that I'm telling something that no one else is agreeing with or something. You only need to look at a modern book and not some 100-year-old stuff. It's a huge difference. It's a huge difference.
Well,
really.
Even though Kramnik had this big thing, I think in a position like this, would you say 45 minutes is enough to weather the storm with and find some drawing ideas?
Yeah, sure. I don't think white is in a huge danger already, as it is just the kind of position where maybe I'm, sort of. I would feel somewhat uncomfortable in this position because you cannot do much. White has very few active possibilities, but if you, really invest a bit of time and find the correct way to set up your pieces, it's very likely that Kramnik will draw this. I mean, he's the best technical player, maybe surely of the current top players, and I'm not quite sure about overall history, but he's certainly not far away from being the best. So,
wow, really? That's quite a statement.
Yeah, what?
Better than Enid?
In a technical position, sure. Yeah. Slightly, of course. He's not. Those guys know how to play their technical positions, but if you give Kramnik the sort of slide something, then he's